adjustments or additions to the agenda, then I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the agenda as is presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Approved. Then we have minutes from our last meeting. That's a long time ago, February 11th. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And it's approved. Next, public comment. Do we have anybody sign up? Nope. Second thoughts? Nope. Let me move on. New business. I gotta this, so I don't memorize it. This is a quasi-judicial evidentiary hearing. That means it's like a court hearing. North Carolina state law sets specific procedures and rules concerning how this board must make its decisions. These rules are different from other types of land use decisions like rezoning cases. The board's discretion is limited. The board must base its decision only upon competent material, relevant, and substantial evidence in the record. The quasi-judicial decision is not a popularity contest whereby opinions are considered. It's a decision constrained by the standards of the Mills River Code of Ordinance and based on the facts presented. If you will be speaking, please focus on the facts and ordinance standards, not personal preference or opinion. Participation in this hearing is limited. This meeting is open to the public. Everyone is welcome to watch. Parties with standing have rights to participate fully in the hearing. Parties may present evidence, call witnesses, and make legal arguments. Parties are limited to the applicant, the town of Mills River, and individuals who can prove they will suffer special damages as a result of this decision. Other individuals may serve as witnesses when called on by the board. Witness testimony should be limited to facts, opinions. General public comment is not permitted during the hearing. All witnesses must swear or affirm their testimony. In one moment, the clerk will administer oaths for all individuals who intend to act as a witness or provide testimony. I would like to entertain a motion to open the evidentiary hearing.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we have in front of us request for a minor special use permit, SUP 2502, Blue Ridge Humane Society, address 0 address assigned, PIN number 9631823883, and McMill Investments LLC 353 Banner Farm Road, PIN 9631834334. Request to establish a new use on both properties for the new headquarters and animal shelter of the Blue Ridge Humane Society, which is not a listed permitted use in the Mills River LI, Mills River Light Industrial Zoning District. Is next, we need to know if there's any board members that have any personal knowledge upon which they may rely that is not in the record, like site visit, internet research, talking to the applicants or neighbors, that's it.
Mr. Chairman, I drove through the site, and I also been reviewing the applicant's application, saw that they had the public sewer box checked, and contacted Metropolitan Sewer District and just made some queries about what would be required if we're planning to dispose of pet waste through their public sewage, and received some information from them from an email. I've had no ex parte communication with parties, but I have printed the information. Actually, Ms. Brown printed the information. and it's available for everybody here on the board as well as the applicants. Um, and I want to go on the record and say, I hope I didn't ever step my bounds with staff. We don't know where things are, and being the new guy on the block here and having a little bit of experience doing this. I know that things being put in public storage sometimes require a little bit more oversight than just standard household waste. That was my theory behind that. You wouldn't mind passing those down. I've got, who are our applicants? And basically there's, yes, ma'am. There's two right there. Basically, the response I received was there was probably going to be a need for someone to contact MSD and probably go through an allocation process, which is standard. That was my personal knowledge and the internet and telephone research that I did.
Okay, thank you. Do anybody of the board want to make a motion to enter this as evidence for this hearing?
We had an occasion for this to happen in this manner before, as they accepted evidence. I don't recall a situation where we've been.
It doesn't have to be entered as evidence into the hearing. But basically any communication or research done just needs to be provided to all parties for due process requirements.
Then you leave it as it is. All right. Thank you. Next, recognition of any person or to petition the board to act as a party with staff. Anybody else? Then clerk is going to swear in those presenting evidence.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Like to recognize our planning and zoning staff in to present the case and enter preliminary materials.
Evening, board. So tonight, the Board of Adjustment will hear a request from Angela Proderick, Executive Director of the Blue Ridge Humane Society. The Blue Ridge Humane Society. Thanks. Owner of property at 0, no address assigned, parcel identification number 963-182-3883. The appointed agent for McMill Investments LLC, owner of property at 353 Banner Farm Road, parcel identification number 963-183-4334. The request is for a minor special use permit to establish a new use, both properties for the future headquarters and animal shelter for the Blue Ridge Humane Society, which is not listed as a permitted use for the light industrial zoning district. So on September 10th, 2025, Angela Broderick, Executive Director of Blue Ridge Humane Society, submitted an application to the town for a minor special use permit. The application requests to establish office headquarters and an animal shelter in the existing building located at 353 Banner Farm Road, and the adjacent vacant parcel with parcel identification number 963-182-3883. The application is included as attachment A in your packet. Also, the purchase and sales agreement between Blue Ridge Humane Society and McMill Investment buyer and seller for the subject property located at 353 Banner Farm Road attached in your packet for attachment B. This evidentiary hearing was properly noticed. Public notice letters were mailed to adjacent property owners on September 22nd, and a public notice sign was posted on the subject property on the same day. Legal advertisement granted and enters into light on October first, on February 2025. So minor special use permits require the approval of the Board of Adjustment. The process for issuing of the minor special use permit is outlined in Code Reference 154.137 and 154.179 C. Town Zoning Code 154.055 C2 lists that use requiring a minor special use permit for the light industrial zoning district, specifically stating uses not otherwise named herein which come within the spirit and intent of this district, subject to the finding by the Board of Adjustment, may be allowed with a minor special use permit. The only other use requiring a minor special use permit for the light industrial district is gasoline, oil, or fuel product wholesale storage. The ordinance description for the in-law light industrial district is to provide a place for the location of industrial and other uses that would be incompatible with general business areas. It is intended to permit in the district any use that is not inherently obnoxious to urban and rural areas because of noise, odor, smoke, light, vibration, or the use of storage of things, chemical, and materials. Next of the light industrial district, permitted uses defended your package of attachment C. The applicant claims that the proposed use will not adversely affect the health and safety of persons in the area because of the following. The facility will operate under established Humane Society protocols for animal care, sanitation, and disease prevention. The property is currently designated with designed, with safe ingress and egress, clear separation of animal areas from public zones, and ADA compliant access for shelter visitors. Noise control measures such as indoor housing for animals during nighttime hours and acoustic treatment will be provided that will mitigate potential disturbances. Anticipated noise levels are expected to be at or lower than the existing machine noise levels associated with the current use of the property, ensuring no increased environmental noise exposure for nearby residents or workers. All activities are supervised by trained staff, volunteers, ensuring interaction between animals, visitors, and the public. The applicant claims the proposed use will not be detrimental to the public welfare of visitors, the property, or public improvement in the neighborhood because of the following things. The Blue Ridge Humane Society is a long-standing nonprofit providing community benefits such as pet adoption, veterinary services, and education. The site will continue to be well-maintained, consistent with the character of the surrounding neighborhood. The minor special use permit request includes both the primary parcel and the adjoining parcel under Blue Ridge Humane Society ownership. The combined use area provides an additional buffer between operations and other properties, further reducing potential impact and enhancing compatibility with surrounding land. Public infrastructure, roads, and utilities, for example, will be unaffected with no anticipated strain of services. So, minor special use permit requirement for approval. So in order to issue a minor special use permit, Board of Adjustment must make the following findings. 1 and 2, specifically for minor special use permits. 1, the proposed use will not adversely affect the health, safety of persons residing or working in the neighborhood of the proposed use. 2, proposed use will not be detrimental to the public welfare or injuries to property and public improvements in the neighborhood. And then in addition, specifically for the light industrial zoning district, in order to issue a minor special use permit for a use not listed, the Board of Adjustment must make the following additional findings for 3 and 4. 3, proposed use would not involve the manufacture, use of manufacturing, storage on, in, or above ground on the premises of any type of chemical in any form was due to its nature is known to be hazardous, human health due to radiation or toxicity, or known to be a carcinogen. 4, proposed use must meet all dimensional, signage, buffer, and parking requirements found in zoning code. In addition, in order to issue a minor special use permit, the Board of Adjustment must make the following findings that decisions and arrangement have been made, where applicable for 5 through 10. At the bottom of the page there, and then on the last page, you'll see 5 through 10. Appropriate conditions may be imposed on the minor special use permit, provided that the conditions are relatably or reasonably related to conformance of the proposed use with town codes. I would like to submit the following attachments into the record.
Attachment A,
Minor special use permit application, further known as SUP 1502. Attachment B, agreement of for purchase and sale of improvement of property. Attachment C, MR Light Industrial or LI ordinance expert. Attachment D, vicinity map, both properties, and attachment E, certificate of mailing public notice letters. And that's all.
Thank you. Next, I would like to recognize our applicant, Mr. Reed, for J. All right, questions?
My questions are gonna pertain to 4 through 10 specifically. From y'all's research looking, do they meet the requirements of 4 through 10? As far as for, dimension, signage, buffer, parking requirements, and kind of zoning code? Y'all research that?
We didn't look into each of those in specific detail, but if the minor special use permit is granted, a zoning permit will be required. And so any additional improvements will have to meet all those requirements. And that's stuff we would check through the zoning permit process.
So do we have to find it doesn't meet these requirements?
So 1 through 4 are the ones required to issue the permit. 5 through 10 are applicable only if the board feels there is not sufficient evidence where you feel condition may be necessary. 5 through 10, as an example, were not addressed in a previous hearing the board had because the board felt since that case was also an existing facility, those additional standards were not applicable.
Okay. At this stage, do you have an opinion if they met the standards of number 4 or not?
For 4, we've not specifically looked at signage on the site. The buffer, we've had conversations about maybe where 1 or 2 evergreen trees need to go, but there is a residence adjacent to the property that already has an evergreen buffer between it and the subject property. And then again, there is a parking lot on the improved property already. Now, when we go through the change of use zoning permit, again, if this board wants to issue the minor special use permit, that's something we would look at as well, to make sure requirements are met, for the amount of parking for office space in Florida County.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions?
I have a question, and I may be just nuts and be a big guy, whatnot. Are these, requirements 3, 4, 5, 10, all that, are they on, in attachment A's? Listing of the,
They're not all listed in attachment A. I believe the applicant has provided the memorandum in attachment A to address each of the standards. But we've not included a code reference for each one of them, if that's what you're inquiring.
okay. I see, I was in the staff memorandum, and I see that the applicant then provided that very efficiently in her applications.
All right.
Other questions? No.
All right. Any other questions? No. Next, recognition of
Greetings, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. I do believe the application thoroughly addresses most of the items that you do have to make a decision on tonight. I do want to speak to a couple is when it comes to animal shelters. One is noise. I know that's not really in the cards for all of this tonight, but I do feel like it's proactive to address noise with you all. We pride ourselves in having a very quiet animal shelter as quiet as it can be, because if there's loud, that means there's anxious animals. If there's anxious animals, that means there's sick animals. And the last thing that we ever want in our care is animals that are sick, because cause a close down, it could cause adoptions to stop. We are all about mitigating noise as much as possible in our facility. Daily walks, enrichment is all part of our care plans that individually are treated for each animal. Every animal that enters our care is given a behavior plan in order to help mitigate that stress and anxiety that would cause noise. I'm sure many of you have pets, and you know when they're barking and they're crazy, it's because they're stressed out about something, and we really don't want that to be. The other thing that I want to mention too is the current facility has a dedusting machine that is outside and was running during operation. And we were actually present while it was running when we were looking at the building at a point in time. And that noise was substantially louder than standing outside of our adoption center with dogs inside barking. One of the things that we also always make sure to do is we talk to architects and engineers who specialize in animal shelters. So they have certain materials, certain builds they do in order to mitigate noise between kennels, as well as from going outside of the actual facility as well. The other thing I wanted to mention is smell. We often hear that too. There's a lot of animals. Is there going to be a smell? Is there going to be runoff issues? If there's a smell, that means there's bacteria or fungi, and those are two big no-nos in animal shelters as well. We have daily cleaning protocols. We are inspected twice a year by the state, who comes through and does walkthroughs to make sure that our cleaning protocols are sufficient, and they grade us based on those. Any reports or grievances they might have are listed on the state website, and we have not had any in the past 7 years that I've been executive director. Just wanted to bring up those 2 points, since I do know that those are some bigger question mark things when it comes to animal shelters. But I'll leave my evidence of that and ready for questions whenever you.
Well, if
Yep.
you don't mind. Yeah, there. Question, well,
I have one. How many kennels are proposed inside of this?
We don't have any proposed at this point in time. Right now, we're looking at a phased approach to the building. This opportunity presented itself and we kind of jumped into it. We had purchased the 12 acres that was next door, and I did receive my notice in the mail. Thank you very much, about Blue Ridge Humane Society looking to rezone. To start from the ground up and actually to do site work and build there. However, when this building became available, it clearly presented to us as a cost saving venture to upfit an existing facility and not having to do any outside work, but just have to upfit inside. We are starting with our community support programs to move into this building. So those are the front facing programs that we offer to pet owners. That be our pet food assistance, our vet assistance, our pet helpline, our pet rehoming, all of those programs that are helping individuals hold on to animals. That will move immediately into this building, and it's primarily office work and storage. We have yet to engage with an architect or an engineer to see how many kennels we can fit in this facility. However, we are not looking to increase our capacity from our current one, because that would be a quick way for us to outstep our budget. So I'm very intentional about being sustainable with our growth. So if we were to add additional kennel spaces, that would mean more staff, more cleaning supplies, more food. And I want to be conscious of the money that we as Blue Ridge Humane Society spend, because it's not our money, it's our donors' money. Right now we have 30 animals or 30 dog kennels, and we have 30 cat kennels that are at our current facility. Long answer to that question. but-
Very good.
other questions? Here, no?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Like to recognize any person with standing to present other evidence, testimony, or the other person wishing to present expert testimony for a company. Then, I'd like to recognize any other person wishing to make public comment. Comment is not considered expert testimony and cannot be a base for the board to speak.
something. Preliminary discussion whereby we are still in brain is wrapped around this. This would be a property that has structure built on.
No, currently it's 1 acre.
Yeah.
that- We have- Turn it up. Our- Work. It purchases what they build a facility on, but when this opportunity presents itself, we would like to upfit our structure and not have.
Structures, they say, green space, all.
And that was our clarification as well, is that the existing facility will be occupied, but in order for them to even occupy it, we have to establish this new use in light industrial that's not allowed. And then again, went through with Humane Society, get the permits issued, move forward with that, that's when staff would process a change of use permit, documenting the change in occupancy for that property.
If what we're determining now is just proposed, meets the requirement, then you all will make sure it's followed.
That's correct.
No, that was my fault. I had my mind wrapped around a different concept. Other questions?
Just to reiterate, your sworn testimony is that the 12 acres next door, will be green space and the engineered walk dogs. Right that. And we're just pursuing the zoning entitlement for that, for the structure itself, and parking, all that. That's correct, right?
Correct.
Okay.
If there is any adjustment, we could see the easement that needs to be met, that property that we. You have to sell.
No fencing. No.
The larger. What we're going. Oh. Want to build on the larger farm.
They would be able to through a simple zoning permit, because again, tonight, we're not considering a development plan or a site plan. We're considering, correct, establishing, again, the office headquarters kennel use on both parcels.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
Other questions?
We've been approximately
You guys talked about.
Right. If none. issue. Concern.
I have one concern that I have, it's not really. Just. You're not looking for zoning entitlement for the structure. Estimated out for storage, office space and administrative capacity at this time. However, kennels are coming and have to look at engineering, stuff like that. And that kind of goes hand in hand with, my query executive industry. I think that, it's important that whatever ends up happening there, that the proper allocations for sewer are achieved prior to the construction of that kennel facility. And I would like, I don't know if we need to make that a condition, but I certainly would not like to see that shit.
Application. We can add condition, or you can make a motion to add a condition
Sure.
and vote on.
It's all special.
Do we have requirements of that would be? But for any new, permitted commercial structure, new construction, that's one of the check boxes that we check off, to make sure that they have like a sewer allocation letter, providing that they are able to provide that to for the use and building on the property.
Reflected in the hearing record and voted on by. So, who wants to be created? Wait.
Based on the testimony from the applicant, that the facility will operate under established humane society protocol for animal care, sanitation, disease prevention, property currently designed with safe ingress, egress, food preparation, animal areas, and public zone, ADA compliant. Visitors, for measures such as indoor housing for animals during nighttime hours and acoustic treatment, mitigate potential disturbances. Anticipated noise levels are expected to be at or lower than existing machine noise level associated with current use of the property, ensuring no increased environmental noise exposure for nearby residents and workers, and all activities are supervised by trained staff, here ensuring safe interaction with animals, visitors, and the public. I'd make a motion that the proposed will not adversely affect the health and safety of persons residing or working in neighborhood of the proposed change based on those facts.
Second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So that's number one.
I'll have a second.
You read ahead.
For the same reasons I stated in the first motion, rewrite those, I propose use will not be detrimental to public welfare or injurious to property or public improvement.
All in favor, say aye.
Oh, let me make a amendment to
Oh.
that. They did put different justification in there. I would add in addition that the Blue Ridge Humane Society is a long-standing nonprofit, providing benefits of pet adoption, veterinary service, and education. The site will be well maintained with the character of its found neighborhood. Minor special permit request includes both the primary parcel and adjoining parcel of the Blue Ridge Humane Society ownership. This combined use area provides an additional buffer in operation and other properties, further reduce potential impact on enhancing compatibility with land uses. Public infrastructure, road utilities would be unaffected relative to this base drain. I would add that to the fact.
This amended, second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Next. I think that one you can make without.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that I have not heard any testimony that would suggest that this facility will involve the manufactured use in manufacturing, storage, or in or above ground on premises of any type of chemical in any form which due to its nature is known to be hazardous to human health due to radiation or toxicity or known to be a carcinogenic.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Yeah, and I'll make another one.
Yep.
And I guess I'll put it this way, that the proposed use must meet all dimensional signage buffer and parking requirements of the town zoning code and will be monitored by staff to ensure that it's
That's a condition.
don't know how we do it.
Well,
I don't know how we can find it without saying it. I don't know how to make that. I don't know if it says proposed. So I suggest the proposed plan does meet all dimensional signage, buffer, and parking requirements per town.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
If the board deems it necessary.
Well, it states here that it must. Oh. Well. Make a motion that it's all okay, or how to do this? second that. It's all recorded. Brad, any discussion on that motion on the floor?
Just got one
It-
question for staff. As to, you know, when kennels come online, is that going to be, I understand this checkbox for the allocation of sewer. Is that gonna be an additional permit? It's gonna be, or not an additional permit, but what's the oversight of that for the staff to, you know, is there gonna be a site plan submitted? Are you gonna know how many kennels are coming? I don't know how, I'm not keeping this very
I
well.
think you're trying to ask how they determine that they're in
Yeah,
compliance.
how do
with
you
the
determine their
sewer-
compliance? That's
sewer.
exactly what I'm trying to say, thanks.
No, you're right. I mean, because it's an existing building, it is a little different. So again, when we process, the change of use permit, if the special use permit's issued, my understanding is the current use would be for offices and storage. So the change of use permit would just be for offices and storage. And then if Blue Ridge Humane wanted to come back and do the kennels, while we don't traditionally review, the interior drawing, building drawings, that would be another change of use permit. So that would be a checkbox there, but I also think, as was stated for number 7, utilities with reference to location, availability, and compatibility, it is appropriate if the board wishes to make a condition on that, because it's related to the ordinance standard.
I would like to amend that motion and make the condition that, when construction of kennels comes online, that there's staff oversight to ensure that, the proper allocations are in place with the MSD. Followed through appropriately. Okay, I see that.
Makes more sense.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so all in favor of the existing motion on the table? Next, do we want to put conditions on this addition?
Yes. I would, like to move that we add a condition that staff administratively assures, especially the sewer allocation is appropriate, number of kennels as proposed, change of use permit.
I have a question. If it would be a normal light industrial zone, it would continue as it is, property would build up with light industrial. Would we ask the same?
I think it's apples and oranges. I understand the conversation there. Industrial is generally processed water that is different than headways. So that's kind of why that's this red flag. There's substantial difference in the way that they specifically require an allocation for each kennel generates this amount of waste. If you get up to 100 kennels, and you can waive, so you can process wastewater from a metal turkey leg or something.
It's out in the email. Yeah.
What?
It's on a well and has septic.
But I don't think that we have to add conditions for things, as far as I'm concerned, that we wouldn't add to any other minor structure. Yep. You want to present a motion?
opposed to, okay,
Okay,
let me do it again.
you do it again?
See if I get any more close to what I just said the first time. I would, make a motion that, we charge staff with administratively ensuring that the appropriate sewer allocation is in place and confirmed through the Metropolitan Sewage District prior to the issuance of change of use permit with the addition, proposing the addition of penalties.
I understand where you're coming. Also, about, pleasant. That being said, isn't their sewage bill going to be in line with their water consumption bill? Isn't that how it works even for,
Yeah.
commercial as opposed to, so if all those requiring out of this river, kind of
I believe it was some sort of pre-treat. One of the main things, one of the main reasons I hate forever get anything from this. If they were to start, now, I didn't know what the time frame on the Ken was. If they were planning to leave here tonight with the zoning department, which I thought may have been well, then it would have been a 3 or 4 month, potentially turnaround to get them through MSD. And based upon my prior experience, I know that pet waste is an issue in the public sewage system as far as, solution to pollution to pollution. And there is one of the very strong, yes, they need to get in touch with us. Yes, they need to talk to our engineer. Yes, we may need to look at some sort of pre-treatment prior to approving this. Yeah, also, and in reference to what you just said, he also said, yeah, we'll eventually catch it. But, why not catch it on the front end? That's kind of, because if they put 100 kennels in there, there's a breakdown, it's 20 gallons per day per kennel or something like that. I can't remember what it was. I didn't blame my cop. So, just in the interest of being,
Okay,
Perfect.
well,
Yep.
let me,
First of all, did you say they had to come back for us, for somebody to?
Yeah, there would need to be a permit issue.
but that's not,
Who would hear that?
Us.
That's that.
Yes, for the change of use of the facility.
Wouldn't go in front of live.
No, because if this special use permit's approved, those uses now exist on those parcels. And so staff now has the authority to process a simple zoning permit, whether it be for construction of a new facility or change of use or outfit of an existing facility to meet the uses that this board approves.
How about, would y'all propose a condition that they have to work pro?
I think personally, I think we're overreaching our authority and adding stuff that we don't need to do. Leave that up to the other authorities the Metropolitan Sewer District. So, no, we have a motion. No. We have a motion on the floor, we've got it. No. Motion passed. All right.
Make a motion to approve. Final section. Final section.
Motion on the floor, and like. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Next. Motion to close, adjourn, evidentiary hearing. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Very good. Next. We need a motion to adjourn. Favor? Aye. Thank you.